What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Soul Break. Thanks for stopping by my channel. This week was actually filled with massive L's. It was just like L after L after L. We had a bunch of releases like the Gulf Dunks, the Pink Pig Dunks, the Medium Curry Dunks, and the Dark Russets, and I think there were a lot of other models as well. It's just that I didn't hit on any of them. I was hoping I could hit on at least a pair so I could do a review on this channel, but as usual, I didn't get any W's on those releases. I mean, you know, I don't really expect to win like raffles every time, but if you hit that, if you take that many L's like in such a short span of time, say over like a week or two, it takes a toll on you, I think. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you out there would relate to that. So, what I decided to do today was I just wanted to pull out one of the best gems in my collection and kind of share it with you guys on a brief review. And so, here I have the Nike Zoom Vomero 5, the Cold Wall collab in the Solarized colorway. Now, this is probably one of the like most special and like the coolest sneakers in my collection. These released in 2019, and back then I wasn't really too into sneakers, and I didn't even know about this. But I had to pay a pretty decent premium for this pair. And when I first pulled these out of the box, man, was I shocked. This thing is a beauty. Now, for those of you who don't know, a cold wall is a kind of like a sweet streetwear, like a casual wear kind of brand run by Samuel Ross. And what happened is that a cold wall released a series of Zoom Vomero 5 models, including like the ox pair, and like there was like a white pair and like also like a black pair, I think. And in the midst of those, Samuel Ross and his team actually decided to hand paint one of the colorways, and this is the particular pair that they've created together. And this entire piece is hand painted throughout, and it's just so cool to hold this in hand and wear it outside. It kind of gives me that like I would say like a steampunk vibe, given like all this kind of like the details that gives you that kind of like rusty vibe, or like this vintage vibe all throughout. So let's dive into the details one by one. So on the side panel of the shoe, you see this kind of like grayish rubber material on the side, and underneath that you can see all the mesh material underneath. And what this does is that the Zoom Vomero 5 is actually a running shoe, so it gives you a lot of perforation throughout the entire shoe. And I guess Samuel Ross and his team decided to paint this area in this grayish color. It has like a brownish vibe of hue as well. And on top of that, you see this kind of like plasticky, I wouldn't say it's like patent leather, but it's some sort of leather. I'm not really sure what it is. It's got that kind of shiny gray toned Nike swoosh on top of the mesh material. And then it's lined with this kind of, I would say like this brown threads and stitching. And towards the front area of the shoe, you see more of that kind of like light brownish, almost like kind of yellowed panels here. It's so hard to describe this shoe because there's so much going on. And then here in the front area, you see more of that mesh material lined in this kind of like light brownish, almost like coffee-like paint. And then in the center, you see that kind of dark grayish paint on here on the mesh material, and then you see more of that brown stitching throughout this area. And near the toe cap area, you see this kind of leather panel. It's got that's kind of like, I would say like sail or off-whitish color here. It's all hand painted, and then you see the cold wall logo printed on top of that in this black text, I would say. And then moving towards the toe area of the shoe, you see more of that kind of like light brownish leather panel here. And then here, the toe box, you see more of that perforated like mesh material painted in that dark gray color. And then towards the top of the shoe, you see, they paid really, really, you know, a lot of attention to detail. As you can see, they didn't really miss a spot. Here you see the mesh material in that kind of like creamish color. And then underneath that, you see, this kind of lining with, I think that's 3M reflective material surrounded by this kind of nylon stitching in cream. And then on top of that, you see that kind of like rounded laces giving that kind of like oxidized feel to the overall shoe. It's one of my favorite details on the in the shoe. And I don't know, this color is so mesmerizing once you see it. It kind of has that kind of burgundy hue to it when you hold it in hand, but it really gives off that kind of oxidized feeling on the entire shoe. And then you see more of that mesh material painted in that gray again. And then on the tongue, you can really feel the paint when you like kind of hold this in hand. And then the tongue is done in this kind of creamish color. There's no tongue tab on the tongue here. And then near the ankle area, you see more of that mesh material painted in this kind of dark brown, almost coffee type of color. And the sock liner is also that kind of burgundy or like oxidized type of fabric here, adding to that feeling of vintage. And then on the back of the tongue, you see that Nike tongue tab, size tab, nothing special about that. And the insole is basically that kind of like oxidized feel, like insole with the cold wall text printed in white on top of it. And as you can see, the logo is falling off because I've been wearing my shoes from time to time. I mean, it's a real treat when I put these on because it's so, I don't know, man. It's got this vintage feel, but it's so special and it's so cool to wear. Now, this part of the shoe is probably the most controversial part. I'm not really sure about the inspiration behind the design here, but what we see here is on the back of the shoe, you see this kind of like black plastic heel counter with this very matte finish. And then you feel that texture, the textured lines there. And I think they've really done a good job of kind of giving that like metallic feel to this particular detail of the shoe, because this actually is plastic, but it's kind of from afar it's got that kind of metallic feel to it. And then you can see the cold wall logo once again engraved into that heel counter here. And then the medial side is basically the same thing, but the I guess the patent leather Nike swoosh is done in black. And then the midsole is this kind of like foam cushioning. And then they've painted this area as well using this kind of, I guess, like washed out cream color or sail color. And I can tell you that this is probably one of the most comfortable Nike shoes I have ever tried on. I own 3 different types of Nike Zoom Vomero 5s, but I mean, this is probably the most comfortable sneaker that you can find out. I mean, I think these are even more comfortable compared to the New Balance 992s. These are so light, they're so well perforated. You got a lot of ventilation throughout the shoe. And one downside of that is that you can't wear them in the winter. This kind of gives off that, I don't know, like wintry vibe to it, but I wouldn't wear these in the winter because your feet are going to be cold. These are definitely summer running shoes. I wouldn't run in these in this particular model, but I do run in my like Volt green pair perhaps. And I also have a vast gray pair, which I just wear for casual wear, and that is so light, so comfortable. It's such a clean shoe. And when you feel this, you can really see that they've actually hand painted every single detail here. And so if you're not careful enough, the paint is going to wear away, but I'm pretty sure that's what they intended to do in the first place anyways. So yeah. And then the outsole is that typical Zoom Vomero 5 outsole done in this black colored traction pads. With in between, you can see more of that kind of like cream colored paints here and there, and you can really see that those like paint brush marks or whatever here and there. So you can really tell that they've actually, went the extra mile to hand paint every single part of the shoe. I'm not really sure if this traction pad is gonna like wash away or anything, but as far as I'm concerned, it hasn't worn away, even though I've worn these a couple times. So yeah, that's basically it for the shoe. Wearability wise, I think the Zoom Vomero 5s are very easy to wear in general. You can just wear them with athletic wear, casual wear, or whatever. But this particular pair might be a little difficult for a lot of people, especially because of the back part. I don't find it hard to pull this off because I've got some clothes that would go well with these, usually like black overall. But it might be a little it might not be everybody's cup of tea, but still I think it's a very wearable shoe. It's so comfortable. Sizing wise, I would recommend true to size. It's definitely comfortable. You might even want to consider like going half a size down if you have narrow feet, but this is definitely a comfortable and roomy shoe, and so there's no problem with that. Now, resale wise, I just checked the StockX prices before filming this video, and my recommendation is just don't buy them. I bought these for resale, and for a reasonable price considering that this entire shoe is hand painted. But I think if you want to cop this pair off of StockX right now, you would probably have to pay twice what I had to pay back like a year ago. And I don't know. This is definitely a special shoe. We'll probably never see this kind of collab ever again between Nike and a cold wall. But even considering all that, I don't think it's worth paying that much to buy this particular model. But yeah, if you must, go ahead and pull the trigger, but it's always nice to just save those chips for the next big release. So yeah, that's basically it. I'm feeling a little down because I've been taking so many L's this week, but I hope you guys have better luck this week and for the weeks to come. And if you were able to hit on anything this week, please let me know down in the comments below. I really enjoy communicating with you guys, and I'll be back with more content really soon. Thanks for watching.